My name is Doug Dahman, and on behalf of the staff and the Board of Trustees and the volunteers of the Kenosha Public Museums, I'd like to welcome you to the 35th Annual African American Read-In. The museums are proud to partner with the Kenosha Public Libraries, the American Association of University Women, Kenosha Community Media, the Kenosha Literacy Council, and the Coalition for Dismantling Racism to bring you this important event. I'd also like to recognize and thank our readers who have shared their time and talents on a volunteer basis with us today, and you'll be hearing some great readings from them throughout the afternoon. At this time, I'd like to pass the mic off to Xander Miller of the Kenosha Public Museum, or Kenosha Public Libraries, who will be our MC today. Come on up, Xander.
Why, thank you. I've worked with the museum a few times, but not worked for the museum yet. We're, maybe at some point. Well, we got a little clap, but can we make some noise? This is 35 years of the African American Read-In. 35 years celebrating reading. That's just amazing. As one of the workers at the library, we're always encouraging reading, literacy, enjoying ourselves. And the folks we're thanking the AUW, the libraries, the museums. Also want to thank the AKA sorority who is doing some greetings out in the lobby for you today. Just want to also acknowledge them. And I want to acknowledge that every year at this event, we have celebrated a historical figure of some sorts. And this year, we are celebrating Harry Belafonte. Now, in your programs, these on here, right in the second page, we have a pretty good reading of him, but just in case you weren't aware, Harry Belafonte was an actor, musician, performer. He has won 3 Grammys, an Emmy, and a Tony Award, which getting all 3, no small feat, but he was also an activist and opposed racial injustice in the US and colonialism in Africa. He was a friend of Martin Luther King and was actively bailing him out of jail. So quite important there. And today we are celebrating him. But there is another figure that I just want to acknowledge, and now we know that the AUW is acknowledging in even a more significant way. Doris Cazell, who died in January of 2023, was one of the founders of the African American Read-In in Kenosha. And this year, 2024, the AUW of Kenosha will award a special scholarship in her honor. They're looking to reach a goal of $1,000 and are looking for that. There's more info cards like this one that I have on the table with the cookies, so you can take a cookie, take a card. It's kind of an equal trade at that point, right? So at that point, just feel free to look at it, see some information, and a way to celebrate and give back for Doris. At this point, we're going to do a little community sing. We're in the afternoon now. We can get a little singing going. So I'd like to invite Essie Bennett to the stage to sing and lead us with Lift Every Voice and Sing. Essie?
Good afternoon, everyone. If those who want to, you can stand as we sing our Lift Every Voice and Sing, which is our national anthem. Black national anthem. It's our anthem. Right. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven rings with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the presence has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn has died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our Father sighed. We have come over a place that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out from the gloomy past till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, Thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, Thou who hast by Thy mind led us into the light, keep us forever in the past, we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met Thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wines of the world, we forget Thee. Shadow beneath Thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land. Give yourselves a hand, you did wonderful.
That's going to go to the tips later for our readers. Okay, so something I forgot to say is it's a good kickoff to Black History Month to be here. And yeah, and so to present a proclamation for Black History Month, I'd like to invite our Kenosha County Executive, Samantha Kirkman, to the stage.
Well, wonderful to be here today to help celebrate Black History Month. As I was preparing for today's remarks, I presented a proclamation last year to the new Black Coffee Shop. And as a small business owner, it was great to be there and to help celebrate his accomplishments. And As we were preparing, we wanted to celebrate Black History Month, but we wanted to do it at a larger venue and an event that brings people together to help celebrate. And that's why we're here today, again, to do the read-in, but also to celebrate everybody coming together. And so I have a proclamation that we have put together, and I'm going to read it. And Adeline and some of the members of the board, if you guys could come up here, please, join me. Oh, all right. Black History Month, February 2024. Whereas each year, February is designated as Black History Month, a time for celebrating and honoring the culture, the contributions of African Americans, while recognizing our rich diversity in one of our greatest strengths. And whereas the origins of Black History Month date back to 1950, when Dr. Carter Woodson founded an organization known as the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. And whereas Black History Month began with a one-week observance in February of 1926 in the United States. And whereas in the 1960s, it expanded to Black History Month as it coincides with the birthdays of Frederick Douglass, born on February 15th, and Abraham Lincoln, born on February 12th. And whereas Black History Month provides for an opportunity to celebrate the achievements and contributions of Black Americans, who include talented artists, authors, musicians, as well as successful business, education, government, and military leaders who have helped shape our collective way of life and enrich American culture. And whereas observing Black History Month provides for an opportunity to gain deeper understanding of African American history, acknowledge Black Americans' struggle for equality and freedom, and recognize barriers to Black Americans have overcome. And whereas we must never forget the men and women who work tirelessly for freedom and civil rights and equality for all people. Therefore, it be resolved that I, Samantha Kirkman, do hereby proclaim February 2024 as Black History Month, given on this day, Samantha Kirkman. So again, thank you so much.
Thank you, County Executive Samantha Kirkman. We appreciate this proclamation for Black History Month. It is important in our American history, and hopefully one day we won't have to have a separate month to celebrate Black history, because it is part of American history. So we appreciate it. And as County Executive said, we are celebrating Black History Month, and one of the ways that we do this is we have a read-in here in Kenosha, and the read-in is held not just in Kenosha, but all across the country, and indeed all across the world. And so we are happy to have this celebration today. The main thing that we do is we have reading selections that are authored by African Americans. All the selections that you will hear today are either originals or they are historical readings that our participants have selected. So just to let you know, those of you who haven't been here before, we have a whole bunch of readers. I think you see the list. And we're going to break it up. We've got about, I'm going to say 26 readers here today. And so we are going to do half of the readings, and then we're going to take a little break and do a little entertainment. We want to showcase Harry Belafonte and some of the things that he did with the Muppets and Disney. And so you'll be entertained for a few minutes, about 5 minutes, and then we will resume our readings. Those of you who this is your first time, I know we have a lot of veterans here, but we'd like for you to come forward, state your name, the children only, give us your age and what school you attend before you tell us what your reading selection is, the title, and the author. The adults in the room, I think they know what to do. And we're asking, because we have so many readers, that you limit your selections to about 2 minutes. I know some people will go over, especially the creative selections that will be done. But if you just limit it to 2 minutes, then we'll be able to get out of here in fairly short order. So we appreciate each and every one of you for coming here today. So, enjoy the program. And as always, we start out with the letter A, and that would be Mayor Antaramian. Just one thing, for those who are a little challenged height-wise, the little ones, we do have a bench here that you can stand on, a little step stool, so you feel free to use it, okay?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Oh, that's a pretty weak good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. That's better. Now, I am going to have to do something because I have, over the years, always said anyone under 60 is a kid. I have now changed that. Anyone under 70 is a kid. I'm 69. My reading is from Harry Belafonte, and it is the introduction from We Are the Change. When the founders of our country wrote the Constitution, they began with these revolutionary words: we the people. They began with the extraordinary idea that the future of our country is its people's future, and their fate will be its fate. This is an idea that invests in citizenship a profound majesty, individual dignity, and the lifelong responsibility of each man and woman to one another. This is an idea that invests in equality, the assurance that when opportunity is shared, it does not divide but rather multiplies, advancing horizons of each individual and each industry. This is an idea that testifies powerful to the truth that when we turn our backs on one another, we turn our world against us, and we leave ourselves each to fight alone. But that when we, every man and woman, plight is our plight, then we find at every hand brothers and sisters to fight for us and on our side. This idea, e pluribus unum, out of many one, insists that through our sacred bond with one another, a people can climb to the height undeterred by the tyrannical past, and that light, all rights, human rights, civil rights, rights of the law, rights of the conscience, are at the beginning and the end. That makes us all one together. Ahead of us, you, our future leaders, who will continue to learn the history, accomplishments along with our mistakes of our ancestors, take the opportunity to explore the elusive book highlighting some of the most influential figures in the historical fight for equality and justice. Harry Belafonte.
The reason I like chocolate. The reason I like chocolate is I can lick my fingers and nobody tells me I'm not polite. I especially like scary movies because I can snuggle with mommy or my big sister and they don't laugh. I like to cry sometimes because everybody says, "What's the matter? Don't cry." And I like books for all those reasons, but mostly they just make me happy. And I really like to be happy. Nikki Giovanni.
I'm a, we like 215. But I'm Gregory Bennett Jr. I'm one of the candidates for mayor this year. But this is just a poem. It's called I Can Hear Teardrops Rain, Teardrops in the Rain. I can hear teardrops in the rain, the pain from the stain that society's robbed the game. Why can't we get this right? So we have all these abandoned buildings, but the homeless can't sleep warm at night, life. You only care when it's hitting your front door in this track race. Maybe it's time to hand the baton off and save face. I promise you grace. You've been running for so long, but still standing in the same place. It's crystal clear that it might not be fear, but maybe it's your ears refusing to work when the people talk so you can't hear. Oh, but America's never been a racist place. So I conjure this conscious of these cowardly thinkings while the world's blinking, being pampered by their everyday lifestyles of sin. Reckless telling me we are all equal while talking about immigrants like they're not human. Oh, I pity the fool, Mr. T. They still teaching Columbus was here before me. Sheesh. School board meetings with no more porn signs. Oh, you've ate too much from that apple tree, got me feeling like Michael Jackson. Remember the time when that movie with Denzel where that Bible was blank, better yet made of braille? When has society become so frail? I'm an African male, still fighting for rights, yet you still want to keep away history, wanting to ban a book, but not fight the fight for the teachers and keep the schools open for the kids that look like, nah, America's never been racist. We've got private funds for downtown, but can't find funds to hold them children down. Road so rough and bumpy, but it wouldn't even be funny to a clown. I know I spite thee, since that's the language you remember where men wore wigs and Romeo and Juliet both had figs, but this is not Newton's law. But knowledge is true attraction. Factious fashion, the book of Eli, I pray, isn't what's really happening. When idiocracy is not far from the future might see, it's so sad. Oh, we the people. Yet we the people, treated like redhead stepkids, Tommy Pickle. Stay slave, solve solutions. What's the confusion? Oh, deny history instead of admitting, accepting. You're the reason in the confusion and cause these contusions. Oh, only to gaslight, deflect, and protect your neck, while the citizens are paid peanuts, living check to check, and you sleep good while the poor stays poor, while finding ways to sleep in pain. But I can't sleep at all because all the noise from the tears in the rain. Oh, this written by me.
I'm going to be boring after that. But you expect me to, because I'm a librarian, right? I'm the library director here in Kenosha. My name is Barb Bratton, and what I'm going to read from is our 2023 pick for the Big Read Homegoing. I'm sure you've heard about it. The setting is about in the late 1800s, and there's a very, very large black man named H, who, just by the nature of his size, seems to attract trouble. And it's, of course, a time when slavery is not legal, but incarceration is, and incarceration is used as a tool for control. So here's the passage. It took 3 policemen to knock H down, 4 to put him in chains. I ain't done nothing, he shouted, once they got him to the jail cell, but he was speaking only to the air they had left behind. He'd never seen people walk away so quickly, and he knew he had scared them. He rattled the bars, certain that he could bend or break them if only he tried. Stop that before they kill you, his cellmate said. H recognized the man from around town. Maybe he'd even sharecropped with him once on one of the county farms. Can't nobody kill me, H said. He was still pressing on the bars, and he could hear the metal start to give between his fingers. Then he could feel his cellmate's hands on his shoulder. H turned around so quick, the other man didn't have time to move or think before H had lifted him by the throat. He was over 6 feet tall, and he had the man so high up his head brushed the top of the ceiling. If H lifted him any higher, he would have broken through. Don't you touch me again, H said. You think them white folks won't kill you? The man said, his words coming out small and slow. What I done, H said. He lowered the man to the ground, and he fell to his knees, gasping up long sips of breath. Say you was studying a white woman. Who say? The police. Heard him talking about what to say before they went out to get you. He sat down next to the man. Who they say I was talking to? Cora Hobbs. I wasn't studying no Hobbs girl, H said, his rage lit anew. If there were rumors about him and a white woman, he would have hoped it would be someone prettier than the old sharecropping boss's daughter. Boy, look at ya, his cellmate said, his gaze so spiteful now that H grew suddenly inexplicably afraid of the smaller, older man. Don't matter if you was or wasn't. All they gotta do is say you was. That's all they gotta do. You think 'cause you all big and muscled up you safe? Nah. Dumb white people can't stand the sight of you, walking around free as can be. Don't nobody want to see a black man look like you, walking proud as a peacock, like you ain't got a lick of fear in you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is Anthony Davis. I'm president of the local NAACP branch here in Kenosha. Recently found a book that kind of sparked my interest. It's by Charles M. Blow, and it's called The Devil You Know. I'm just going to read a few paragraphs from this. If you don't know who Charles M. Blow, he's an American journalist and commentator, and he does op-eds in the New York Times, and also a political analyst from MSNBC. I'll be reading from the chapter that says, The Push. It was January 24th, 2015. The weekend he was rushing to produce a promotional video for his fraternity. To do so, he had to check out a video camera, a microphone, and a tripod from the campus library, where he also worked. But one could keep the equipment for only a few days at a time. So every 3 days, he would have to return and then check it out again. This is what he was doing that evening. As he was leaving the library by an underground passage, he flung the equipment strap over his shoulder, braced for the cold, and ascended the stairs. He was freezing. He was wearing one of my jackets I had given him, a navy blue pea coat, a sweater cap, blue with a rust orange color ring, and hiking boots. He was a true Brooklyn boy, partial to Timberlands or any boot. They looked like them. His attire wasn't quite suitable for the weather, but it was serviceable. When he was walking up the stairs, he saw an officer running down one of the cross-campus pathways near him, which he thought unusual, but it didn't much faze him. He turned to take the sidewalk back toward his dorm. He glanced over his shoulder to see the officer had stopped and was now staring in the direction he was walking. Still, noting nothing registered that Taj as problematic. Why should it have? He kept on casual but a perpetual gait that cold weather compelled, the same as the rest of the people on the sidewalk. Then he heard a voice yell, realizing the voice was yelling at him, and he turned to see the officer remove his gun from his holster. As the gun began to move, everything in my son sank. He instinctively lowered his head and raised his hands. He fell to his knees and his body collapsed, chest first, on the cold concrete. Panic pulled him down. If the sidewalk could have opened, it would have swallowed him. It was the black man's ancestral muscle memory of submission, of surrendering for survival. I knew this instinct well. This horror had stored up in the blood. It is the same one that had seized me one spring night in Grambling State University, some 27 years ago. Earlier, a police officer in the mostly white neighborhood town of Ruston, Louisiana, had trailed a car my friend Ed was driving, and it was which I occupied the passenger seat. Just before we were about to cross the city limits and leave that jurisdiction, he turned on his flashers and pulled us over. He told my friend that he had made a turn without using his signals, which is a lie because we hadn't made any turns, and demanded to see my friend's license, insurance, and registration. My friend motioned toward the glove box in front of me, and I opened it to retrieve the documents. A switchblade comb tumbled out of it. It was the kind of toy you won at the parish fair when you had the skill to steady the tiny crane claw in a glass enclosure so that you would pick up an item and swing it to the prize chute. As the comb tumbled out, the officer drew his gun. I assumed it was trained on me, but I could not be sure, nor that my son could be sure that night at Yale. My hands went up instinctively, my body stiffened, and my gaze locked, not on anything really, just forward, away from the weapon. When my friend protested the officer's treatment, the man replied flatly that he could make us lie down in the middle of the road and shoot us in the back of the head, and no one would say anything about it. This threat of execution undid us. How could this be? We were the smart kids, the good kids, scholarship kids. I had been a freshman class president, and that semester I would be elected sophomore class president, and my friend would be elected vice president. And yet, there we were, on the side of a dark road, on the wrong end of a loaded gun. I have never forgotten that fear and helplessness that raged in that moment. It kept playing in my mind as my son spoke, him lying on the ground where an officer had threatened him, lying on the ground where the officer had threatened him to put him, his body laid splayed, stomach to the pavement, face, a nose away from it, and the generation of black men. Yeah, excuse me, my eyes started to water here. A nose away from it, and another generation of black men being inducted into that club. The Ignatius order to which so many black men have being the harassed and detained, the roughed up and beat down, the killed and the clinging to life. In 2020, a Kaiser Family Foundation polled asked respondents if they had ever been stopped or detained by police because of their race or ethnicity. 41% of the black people said yes. Only 5% of the white said the same. So this is where I am. So this is Charles M. Blow. He's more or less telling his life story about him and his son, some of the things they've gone through. Thank you.
Got just a quick check. Do we have Hope Gorman here? Oh, come on up.
Hey guys.
Hello.
I'm Hope Gorman. I'm 12 years old. I go to K-Tech Middle School, and I'll be reading a poem on paper by Jacqueline Woodson. When anyone in my family asks what I'm writing, I usually say nothing, or a story, or a poem. And only my mother says, just so long as you're not writing about our family. And I'm not, well, not really. Up in the mountains, far from the sea, there's a place called Dan and Mora, the men are not afraid. Guys, I'm Hope Gorman. That was my poem.
Hello, I'm Misty Gorman, and this is my son Jesse. He's going to help me read a story called
Brown Boy Joy.
Brown Boy Joy by Tomisha Booker. I am,
Brown Boy Joy.
and I shine like gold, smiling ear to ear. I am fearless and bold, small but mighty as I walk with pride. I am fearfully and wonderfully made, future bright and eyes wide. No dream too big, no, not for, that's right. I am
Brown Boy Joy.
and amazing. Can't you?
See,
I am
Brown Boy Joy.
always reaching for the,
Child.
I walk into the room with my head held.
High.
You can tell by my stride, I am happy as can be. No one on earth can still the joy inside of. Wherever I go, no matter near or far, you will always find me like a shining, with a heart so pure, I am loved by all. Walking in my glory, I am standing, filled with love and light. I speak my mind. Take a look at me. I am smart and I am
High.
sitting on my throne like royalty.
I am Brown Boy Joy.
Yes, that's
Me.
right.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amy Greil. I'm the proud executive director of the Kenosha Community Foundation. Test. I'm very humbled to be included upon this group of readers today. And I wanted to draw a quick connection to Anthony Davis's reading when he talks about muscle memory. Blue lives, black lives, and white lives are what my reading connects to, as did Anthony's. My reading comes from a book called My Grandmother's Hands, Racialized Trauma and the Pathways to Mending Our Hearts and Our Bodies. This is by Rasma Manikin. He's a MSW, Masters of Social Work. He writes, "The body is where we live. It's where we fear, we hope, and we react. It's where we constrict and relax. And what the body most cares about is safety. Safety and survival. When something happens to the body that's too much, too fast, or too soon, it overwhelms the body and creates trauma. Contrary to what many people believe, trauma is not primarily an emotional response. Trauma always happens in the body. It is a spontaneous protective mechanism used by the body to stop further or future potential damage. And trauma is not a flaw or a weakness. Rather, trauma is a highly effective tool of safety and survival. For so many, not hurting is not an option. For so many of us, hurting is no longer an option. We must face and feel the soul-stirring pain in order to heal. We have a profound and historic opportunity at healing, and we can choose. This book can help us make that choice and navigate the unknown waters that we need to sail in order to heal. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Bill Haycock. I'm Chief of School Leadership with Kenosha Unified School District and would like to echo the idea. I appreciate being here, a chance to represent the school district here at this amazing event. I thought a lot about what I wanted to say and what I was going to read, and I've gone through probably 50 different considerations, but over Christmas break, I had the opportunity, I was in Louisville, Kentucky, and I got the opportunity to visit the Muhammad Ali Center. And I was so inspired while I was there that I knew immediately what I was going to say and share with you when I got here today. Just a brief introduction, because there's some young people here. If you don't know about Muhammad Ali, here's a little bit about him. At birth, he was named after anti-slavery activist Cassius Marcellus Clay, later changing his name to Muhammad Ali. He won an Olympic gold in 1960. He won 56 of 61 professional fights in his career. He was the first boxer to ever win the world heavyweight title 3 times. Sadly, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease at age 42, and we lost him in June of 2016. But for you young kids who don't know who he was, I think he was widely considered by most, if not everyone, the greatest heavyweight boxer of all time, and quite simply an amazing American. While at the Muhammad Ali Museum, I was introduced to a poem that I had never seen before. I brought it back with me to share with you. It was written by Rudyard Kipling, and I'll tell you why I'm sharing it with you in just a second. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting or being lied about, don't deal in lies. Or being hated, but don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make your dreams your master, if you can think and not make your thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stoop to build them with worn-out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it all on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about that loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your long term after they are gone. And so hold on when there's nothing in you except a will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch. If neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much. If you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son. Muhammad Ali carried that poem with him at all times, and he tried to live his life by the words that were there. If you haven't had the opportunity to sit and reflect on the words that just quickly passed by you, but I would encourage you to do so, because I thought it was incredibly inspiring. A couple of quotes. When you visit this place, if you've got a couple hours, I would really encourage you to stop. It's right on the Ohio River there in Louisville. I could have spent all day there, I think, but just a couple of quotes I want to share with you from Muhammad Ali, 1975. "When I feel I want to stop, I look around and see George Foreman running, coming up next to me, and I run a little harder. I've got a half a mile to go, and each yard is draining me. I'm running on reserve tank now, but I know each step I take after I'm exhausted builds up special stamina, and it's worth all the other running put together." And there's this great picture of Muhammad Ali running, turning around, looking behind him. Like you could just picture him training, you know. There's all these quotes about how fights are never won in the ring, they're won with the preparation. Last quote I'll share with you. "Impossible is not a fact, it's an opinion. Impossible is not a declaration, it's a dare. Impossible is potential, impossible is temporary, impossible is nothing." Muhammad Ali.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cheryl Hernandez. I'm the director for the Kenosha Literacy Council. We're a nonprofit organization here in Kenosha that helps adults who are learning to read and write and speak English. The book that I'm going to share with you today is by Harry Belafonte, and it's called Island in the Sun. And you may know this, but he spent part of his childhood in Jamaica, so this is a little bit about his experience there. "This is my island in the sun, where my people have toiled since time begun. Though I may sail on many a sea, her shores will always be home to me. O island in the sun, willed to me by my Father's hand, all my days I will sing in praise of your forests, waters, your shining sand. When morning breaks the heaven on high, I lift my heavy load to the sky. Sun comes down with a burning glow, mingles my sweat with the earth below. O island in the sun, willed to me by my Father's hand, all my days I will sing in praise of your forests, waters, and shining sand. I see woman on bended knee cutting cane for her family. I see man at the water's side casting nets at the surging tide. O island in the sun, willed to me by my Father's hand, all my days I will sing in praise of your forests, waters, and shining sand. I hope the day will never come that I can't awake to the sound of the drum. Never let me miss Carnival with calypso songs philosophical. O island in the sun, willed to me by my Father's hand, all my days I will sing in praise of your forests, waters, and shining sand.
Hi, my name is Marcellus Hill. I'm 13 years old, and I attend K-Tech West Middle School. Today I'll be reading Goodnight Racism by Ibram X. Kendi. Outside the window, peeking down from the night sky, the moon watches over us. She sees kids smiling at the dinner tables and yawning in their beds. But some kids do not have food, do not have beds, because of unfair rules and unjust treatment. The moon sees all kids, whoever they are, wherever they are, and shines her light on them. The moon wants her light to kiss every child goodnight. The moon delights when every child falls asleep. Because the moon knows when we sleep, we dream. When we dream, we imagine what is possible, what the world can be, and the moon glows brighter, whispering, "Dream, my child. Imagine, my child. A new future, a new world awaits." A world where all people are safe, no matter how they look, how they worship, or how they love. A world where all kids have the same chance to have peace, to have joy, to have a childhood. A world where all people breathe fresh air and have what they need to feed their minds and bodies. A world where our rules open doors, open minds, and create equality and justice for all. Dream, my child. Create, my child. A new world, a new future awaits. Good night, unfair rules. Good night, cruelty. Good night, injustice. Good night, inequality. Good night, hate. Good night, hate. Good night, racism. Good night.
Hello, my name is Marcus Hill. I'm 15 years old and I attend Lakeview Academy. My poem is entitled Speech to the Young, Speech to the Progress Award by Gwendolyn Brooks. It says, say to them, say to the downkeepers, the sun slappers, the self-soilers, the harmony hushers, even if you are not ready for the day, it cannot always be night. You will be right, for that is the hard home run. Live not for the battles won. Live not for the end of the song. Live in the along.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Black History Month. My name is Rihanna Johnson, and I am so glad to be able to be included in today's celebration at Kenosha's 35th Annual African American Read-In. I was born and raised in Kenosha. I attended Kenosha Unified Schools, and back in my day, I participated in sports at Kenosha Tremper. I am a former KUSD educator, and I currently work as a social worker and author, writing children's books and managing my blog, Recycled Flowers. Last year, I was featured here to share my story, We Are the People. That is my first published children's book. And today, I'm here to share my next book. I'm honored to be able to present this to you. Without further ado, I'd like to share We Are the Community by Rihanna Johnson. I am my community. My community is me. As I walk through and pass by, I see possibilities. What can I be? Who will I become? Beginning to question the world around me is only step one. Maybe I will be a teacher, a doctor, or an artist of some kind. My future all depends on what's in my heart and my mind. I can, I will, I may, I must, I was, I am, I will be blessed. You are your community. Your community is you. As you travel day to day, you see all there is to do. Just do it. Take action. Be the change you wish to see. Because if you don't, who will? How long will it be? She is her community. Her community is her. Between street signs and pedestrian lines, there's so much to discover. History, her future, opportunity, and more. She is the key to unlock the door. What happened in this place? What's going on today? How is it connected? To find answers, she will guide the way. Where will the world take her? Where can she take the world? Only time can tell, so we must speak life into this little girl. They are their community. Their community is them. They are proof power and greatness can blossom from a tattered stem. From conflict to collaboration, chaos to cohesion, our community is becoming a place we can believe in. When we believe in ourselves, the work has just begun. Imagine the greatness they can become. Continue, persevere, be resilient, be brave. Keep going, keep going. Take a stance, make some waves. We are our community. Our community is us. As we work together, we build trust with each shoulder brush. We lift each other up, edify, and equip. We educate, we love, we live and let live. We are examples, exemplars, explorers. We are the future, the present, the people before us. We are love, peace, knowledge, power. We are the light in the final hour. I am my community. My community is me. I know that I am just one part of a much bigger team. My family, my neighbors, my schools, my dreams, I know I'll achieve them if I just believe. Believe in myself to become my best. I'll always keep asking and answering, okay, what's next? I am me because of you. I believe in the power of Ubuntu. The power of humanity lies within me. That same power is yours, you see? You are your community. Your community is you. Your voice matters. Speak your truth. Although you will serenade some, others may not understand. You've been charged to do great deeds in this land. You can do it. It might be tough. You can do it. Trust your gut. You can do it. Follow the plan. You can do it. Yes, you can. He is his community. His community is him. He knows he is who he is because of him. Gods, kings, warriors, dreamers. He knows his peoples are readers, leaders, and believers. He is everything he needs to be. He is his ancestors' wildest dreams. He is growing, thriving, becoming more. He is motivated, inspired, and ready to soar. They are their community. Their community is them. They will not falter. They do not fear. The unknown, the certain, they handle with care. They are courageous, daring, prepared. We are our community. Our community is us. We are lovers, fighters, preachers, and such. We are our people. Our people are us. We believe it gets greater later because we must. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Robert Kendall, and I'm 10 years old, and I go to National Elementary School. I Too by Langston Hughes. I too sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes, but I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow, I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody will dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America.
Well, good afternoon. I'm State Representative Tip McGuire. I represent the 64th Assembly District. And today I'm going to read the Ballad of Birmingham by Dudley Randall, which was regarding a bombing of a church in Birmingham, Alabama in 1963, which I find particularly powerful in this era of increase in hate groups and political violence in America. Mother dear, may I go downtown instead of out to play and march the streets of Birmingham in a freedom march today? No, baby, no, you may not go. The dogs are fierce and wild, and clubs and hoses, guns and jails aren't good for a little child. But mother, I won't be alone. Other children will go with me to march the streets of Birmingham to make our country free. No, baby, no, you may not go, for I fear those guns will fire, but you may go to church instead and sing in the children's choir. She has combed and brushed her night dark hair and bathed the rose petals sweet and drawn white gloves on her small brown hands and white shoes on her feet. The mother smiled to know her child was in the sacred place, but that smile was the last smile to come upon her face. For when she heard the explosion, her eyes grew wet and wild. She raced through the streets of Birmingham calling for her child. She clawed through bits of glass and brick and lifted out a shoe. Oh, here's the shoe my baby wore, but baby, where are you?
Well, good afternoon. I'm State Representative Todd Onstead from the 65th Assembly District, and I gotta say, what a good-looking crowd we got here today. Let's give yourself a big round of applause. I'm going to be reading today from an essay. Every year, the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel has a contest during the Martin Luther King holiday, and I'm going to be reading from the third place winner, Gianna Rivera, second grade, Honey Creek Elementary School. Wednesday, April 21st, 2021, on the 3700 block of North 5th Street at 25 years young, gun violence took my father's life. Roberto Velez Jr. was a son, a father, brother, husband, and best friend. At just 5 years old, I got the news my dad was murdered. I became angry and I became confused. Why him? Why me? I asked myself, Dr. Martin Luther King's strong words, what affects one affects all, highlights my story. Dr. King championed using wise words and nonviolence to withstand hatred. The cold-hearted actions of one person affected my dream. The priceless memories that were to come, such as TV time on the couch, loud laughs, warm hugs, and of him walking down the aisle on my wedding day. Mr. Gunman, I ask you, why did you take away the one person I loved the most? Did I cross your mind when you raised that gun? No, I do not think so. What if the roles were reversed? Who would you leave behind? It took one gun, taking one son, father, brother, husband, and best friend. Our cries won't bring him back. Our hurt won't just go away. All of us are hurting. So I say to you, Mr. Gunman, guns down. Think of your loved ones. Think of mine. You could be someone's someone, like you took mine. But I still have a dream. Guns down, I say, cries that 5-year-old little girl.
My name is Joseph Payne, and I am 8 years old, and I go to Nash Elementary. Dreams by Mr. Hughes. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast onto dreams, for when dreams go, life is a burden field frozen with snow.
Good afternoon. My name is Sarah Payne and I am 10 years old, and I'm a proud student at Nash Elementary School. Today I will be reading Good Hope to you by Benjamin Safani. There is good food on this planet for everyone. I believe that it is possible for all people to live in peace. I believe we can live without guns. I believe all people are important. There are good Christians and good Muslims, good Jews and good not shores. I believe there is good in everyone. I believe there is in people. If I did not believe, I would stop writing. I know every day children cry for water and every day racists attack. Still, every day Children play with no care for color. So I believe there is hope, and I hope there are many believers believing there is hope. That's what I hope, and this is what I believe. I believe in you. Believe in me. Hi, my name is Trinity, and I am 10 years old, and I'm from Grant Elementary. I am Black History. Poem by Lashaya. I am Black History. Black history is full of independent people who never gave up. Do you know who Rosa Parks is? Rosa Parks was known for standing up for herself on a bus, causing a boycott. I am Black excellence. I am a leader because I don't follow other people, and I do my own thing. I do my own thing in my own unique way. I am Black History.
Hi, y'all. It's hard enough to go after one child, but after 3 wonderful children, could we please clap for them again? I'm Cameron Swallow, and I have served on the Coalition for Dismantling Racism in Kenosha for 7 years at the invitation of Adeline Green. Thank you, Adeline. And thanks to everybody here today. I'm excited to tell you that one of my favorite authors, Jessamine Ward, has a new book out. And I encourage you all to read it, because I'm going to read it this afternoon. No, I haven't read it yet, but I do know that the first chapter is fabulous, and I'm not going to read all of it, but I'm going to read the first page. Mama's Bladed Hands. The first weapon I ever held was my mother's hand. I was a small child then, soft at the belly. On that night, my mother woke me and led me out to the Carolina woods, deep, deep into the murmuring trees, black with the sun's leaving. The bones in her fingers, blades in sheaths, but I did not know this yet. We walked until we came to a small clearing around a lightning-burnt tree, far from my sire's rambling cream house that sits beyond the rice fields. Far from my sire, who is as white as my mother is dark. Far from this man who says he owns us. From this man who drives my mother to a black thread in the dim closeness of his kitchen, where she spends most of her waking hours working to feed him and his 2 paunchy milk sallow children. I was bird-boned, my head brushing my mother's shoulder. On that night long ago, my mother knelt in a fractured tree's roots and dug out 2 long, thin limbs, one with a tip carved like a spear, the other wavy as a snake, clumsily hewn. Take this, my mother said, throwing the crooked limb to me. I whittled it when I was small. I missed, and the jagged staff clattered to the ground. I picked it up and held it so tight that the knobs from her hewing cut. And then my mother brought her own dark limb down. She had never struck me before, not with her hands and not with wood. Pain burned my shoulder and then lanced through the other. This one, she grunted, her voice low under her weapons whistling, was my mama's.
Good afternoon. Isn't it exciting to see all these young boys and these young girls here reading? Right? When there's a reading deficiency surrounding us, it's really great to see these young boys and these young girls up here reading. I only wish there were more in the room to see how powerful they can be and how impactful reading is. Don't you all? Yes. Awesome, awesome. My name is Ronald Tatum. I'm the Executive Director of Kenosha Area Family Aging Services Incorporated, also known as KFASI to many of you. And so I'm excited to be here this afternoon with each and every one of you. I actually wrote of my poem, actually this morning. So I was torn in between of, reading an excerpt that already existed or writing myself. And I love to write. So I have about 2,000 poems I've probably written in my lifetime. And I love to write and I love to read. And so I said, why not, read what I wrote and write a poem. So this one is actually called Big Black Guy.
Okay, gotcha.
So I wrote this morning. It goes, my appearance and my approach have to be subtle. Because when I walk in a room, all they see is my skin color and my size. So my appearance and dress throws them off. My communication must be clear, soft, spoken, and concise. My soft skills, my handshake must be on point. I have to work harder to garner the room's attention. My size makes me look intimidating. The darkness of my skin makes some nervous and uncomfortable. My intellect even scares them more. Mama told me I would have to work harder than others. Dad told me the way I looked and dressed was a way of communicating without saying a word. He was a 6'2" big black guy. True story. Who was a custodian who went to work in a suit and came home in greasy work clothes. So I dressed not to impress, but to send a message to the room, the audience, without saying a word. I speak with intellect to let them know that I belong in the room. I read and prepare harder because there will be many days you will be judged by your outside appearance and not your inward appearance. So I work harder, I work smarter because I must. Not just for me, but for my children, my children's children, and each of you, because you belong. Big, black, or indifferent, you belong, and never let anyone take that from you. Continue to let God in your faith lead, guide, and direct you, and the rest will fall into place. Trust me, this big black guy knows. Thank you.
Going next with Senator Wirch.
All right. Hey, you snuck it behind you?
I'm old enough to remember Dr. Martin Luther King. He was the most hated man in America. Why? Because he wanted to change the status quo. Right. The status quo was segregation in the South. And so in April 1963, he was in jail, Birmingham jail. And his jailers were mean. They took away his mattress. He had to sleep on the concrete floor. But there was some paper there. And he wrote the letter from a Birmingham jail. So I'll read part of it now. I must make two honest confessions to you, my Christian and Jewish brothers. First, I must confess that over the past few years, I've been gravely disappointed with the white moderate. I have almost reached the regrettable conclusion that the Negro's great stumbling block in his stride towards freedom is not the White Citizens Council or the Ku Klux Klan, but the white moderate, who is more devoted to order than to justice, who prefers a negative peace, which is the absence of tension, to a positive peace, which is the presence of justice, who constantly says, I agree with you in the goal you seek, but I cannot agree with your methods of direct action, who paternalistically believes he can set the timetable for another man's freedom, who lives by a mythical concept of time and who constantly advises the Negro to wait for a more convenient season. Shallow understanding from people of goodwill is more frustrating than absolute misunderstanding from people of ill will. Lukewarm acceptance is much more bewildering than outright rejection. I had hoped that the white moderate would understand that law and order exists for the purpose of establishing justice, and that when they fail in this purpose, they become the dangerously structured dams that block the flow of social progress. I had hoped that the white moderate would understand that the present tension in the South is a necessary phase of the transition from an obnoxious, negative peace in which the Negro passively accepted his unjust plight to a substantive and positive peace in which all men will respect the dignity and worth of human personality. Actually, we who engage in nonviolent direct action are not the creators of tension. We merely bring to the surface the hidden tension that is already alive. We bring it out in the open, where it can be seen and dealt with. Like a boil that can never be cured so long as it's covered up, but must be opened with its ugliness to the natural medicines of air and light. Injustice must be exposed, with all the tension its exposure creates, to the light of human conscience and the air of national opinion before it can be cured. Thus spoke Martin Luther King. Thank you.
And that's our reading for today. But we're not done there yet. I think with this sort of event, we have a lot of feelings, emotions, thoughts that come with it. And so we've added a meditation to this event. So I'd like to invite Dr. Monica Cummings to the stage to lead us in a meditation.
Hi, family. I am the Reverend Dr. Monica L. Cummings. I am the Assistant Minister for Pastoral Care at Bradford Community Church Unitarian Universalist, and I am also the President for Congregations United to Serve Humanity, also known as CRUSH. I invite you to get comfortable on whatever is supporting your body. Just let your body settle and center on your seats. And incorporate the sounds in this environment. The sounds outside this room, the sounds inside this room. People think to meditate you need absolute quiet. Good luck with that. So just incorporate everything that's in your environment when you meditate. And bring your awareness to your breath. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose if possible. And as you breathe, notice how your body's responding to each breath. As you inhale, notice what's happening with your body. As you exhale, notice what's happening with your body. And bring your awareness to your stomach. And as you inhale and exhale, notice what's happening with your stomach. Now I want you to imagine that you have a balloon in your stomach. And as you inhale, blow your balloon up. And as you exhale, let your balloon deflate. As you inhale, blow up the balloon in your belly. As you exhale, let the balloon deflate. And keep belly breathing, keep breathing, blowing up your balloon. And notice if you feel a shift in your body. Notice if you feel a shift in your breathing as you belly breathe, blowing up your balloon. And for all you kids, this is a type of breathing you can do before you take an exam. You can belly breathe, blow up your balloon when you feel nervous or stressed. And take another breath cycle, inhale and exhale, blowing up your balloon. And then let go of blowing up your balloon. And bring your awareness to your entire body. And I'm going to call out a body part, and I invite you to tense that body part. And while you're tensing, please continue to breathe. Bring awareness to your face. Your eyes, your nose, your mouth. Notice what's happening with your face. Now tense your facial muscles. Tense your eyes, tense your nose, tense your mouth. And notice how your face feels tense. And as you exhale, release and relax the muscles in your face. And notice how your face feels relaxed. Bring awareness down into your arms, your upper arms, the middle of your arms, your hands. And notice how your arms and your hands feel. Now tense your arms, ball your hands up into a fist and tense your arms and your hands. And notice how your arms and your hands feel tense. And as you exhale, release and relax the muscles in your arms and your hands. And notice how your arms and your hands feel relaxed. Bring awareness to your shoulders and your neck. And notice how your shoulders and your neck feel. Now tense your shoulders and your neck. Tense your shoulder muscles, your neck muscles, and notice how they feel tense, which is where a lot of folks hold stress. And as you exhale, release and relax the muscles in your shoulders and your neck. Bring awareness down to your legs, your feet, your thighs, your calf muscles, your feet, and notice how your legs and your feet feel. Now tense your legs, tense your feet, ball your toes up. And notice how your legs and your feet feel tense. And as you exhale, release and relax the muscles in your legs and your feet. And notice how your legs and your feet feel relaxed. And bring awareness to your entire body. And notice how your body feels. Now tense every muscle in your body. And notice how your body feels tense. And as you exhale, release and relax every muscle in your body. And notice how your body feels relaxed. Bring your awareness back to your breath. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose if possible. And scan your body one more time and notice what's there. Notice what emotions and feelings are present. And notice where they live in your body. Note what came up for you with the various readings. And sense where in your body are you holding that stuff that came up for you. And I invite you to breathe into it, acknowledge it, breathe into it. Don't stuff it, don't try to toss it away. Breathe into it, acknowledge that it's there. As we breathe together and with each breath, know that you are not alone. Know that there are billions of people breathing with you. Know the love in this room as you breathe, as we breathe together, knowing that we are in this together. Mindful of our bodies, mindful of our breath, and mindful of this moment. And when you're ready, wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, and if your eyes are closed, slowly blink your eyes open, coming back to an alert state of mindful awareness. Go in love and go in peace.
And that has been the African American Arena, our 35th one. And I always, every year, as I've been moving this event along and I have the closing remarks, I never have a set thing of closing remarks, but there's always a feeling that I get from each year, because it's different every single year. And this time it comes with a story. And much like Mr. Tatum that came up here, this story was thought of while I was this morning, from events this morning, as well as events here, as a friend and I, much more of a history buff than I am, we're discussing post-Civil War Reconstruction and presidency after Civil War and the occurrences, the changes that were happening. And I had said the words to him that, existential threat is one of the greatest motivators out there. This read-in always surprises me because I then had a different thought. A better motivator than existential threat, and that is hope. It's the idea that I've been thinking of is that hope is a kind of defiance that no one can ever take from you. It's always with you. There was a time where folks like me weren't allowed to read or write. And then hope brought through a time of no reading, no writing, no education. And we see now today that we have young folks, old folks, reading and writing and creating their own stories. And I think of events like this as places of hope. I think the community gatherings as places of hope. And hope is an action. Reading is an action. You are doing. Writing is an action. Hope and action go hand in hand. They're not separate things. So you can never take away hope, but action always comes with it. And as we're closing, I like to think of the folks that are putting together events like this as purveyors of hope, arbiters of hope for our community. Again, just bringing us together and having a space. I think the Kenosha Public Museum, Kenosha Public Library, the AAUW, Kenosha Community Media, who's quietly been recording so we can spread this hope throughout. The Literacy Council, Kenosha Literacy Council, helping folks read. And of course, the Coalition for Dismantling Racism. All of these is groups of hope. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for being in this moment and coming together as a community, and always, always keep reading and keep spreading the love of reading. Thank you.